Which of these shapes is the odd one out and why? Now, if you don't want a spoiler, pause the video now. But I use this task to get pupils used to the dimensions of the algebra tiles. So a little clue is, consider the area or the perimeter of all of these different shapes. One of them is different. Can you find which one? Okay, so it's really important when introducing algebra tiles that pupils aren't just seeing these as X tiles and unit tiles, but they also understand the dimensions that are associated with them. So this tile here, for example, yes, we might call it the X tile for short, but pupils need to be really clear that this length here is X, and the width of this tile is 1, so it has an area of X multiplied by 1, or X. And also we can work out its perimeter, which would be X plus X, 2X, plus 2. And this is just a series of tasks that I use to get pupils familiar with the tiles. So if we build the shape that we've got in all of these diagrams, you can see they're all made up from 3 X's, and then the unit tiles are moving around all over the place. Now, because they're all built from exactly the same tiles, then the area of all these shapes is not going to change. The area of all these shapes is going to be 3x plus 2. So we're not going to find the odd one out by comparing the areas, so it must be something to do with the perimeter. So, which, if any of these shapes, does have a different perimeter to the rest? Well, let's consider shape A to begin with. The distance at the top is x, and the distance at the bottom is going to be x and 1. And this length here is going to be 3. And this slightly trickier side, well, we've got a distance of 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So the whole perimeter of this shape is going to be 2x plus 3, and then we've got 5 down here, so 2x plus 8. Okay, now does this change as we move into shape B? Well, what happens in shape B? All we're doing is sliding these tiles up a little bit. Now this can be quite confusing for pupils, because they might say things like, well, I don't know these two little distances here now. But then you can pose the question, does it actually matter if you don't know the individual distances? We still know that the sum of these two distances is 1. So the perimeter is not changing as we slide these tiles up and down, because these two little bits here must add up to 1, because the whole distance is 3 and this distance here is 2. So this still has a perimeter of 2x plus 8. And we can have the same argument for all of these tiles as we go around it. When I put the tiles in this orientation for shape C, we've still got the same perimeter. And that's the same for D and for F as well. It's only when I look at shape E that something changes. And the thing that's happening is that the unit tiles are no longer together. They are split out. And the moment you split these two tiles out, watch what happens to the perimeter. All of a sudden you add in these extra 2 lengths here. So by separating the 2 unit tiles out, the perimeter is going to increase by 2. So that's what they're looking like in shape A. And if I label all the sides, you can see this perimeter should increase by 2. So now we've got this distance of x at the top. Down this side here we've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down this side here we've got 4 as well. And the distance across all of this, the horizontal distance, we've got this distance and this distance and this distance. Now again, pupils might get confused because they might say, well, it's 1 plus 1, but I don't know what this distance is. It doesn't matter. The whole distance horizontally is exactly the same as the whole distance at the top here. So we've got a distance of x going across, but then we've got these 2 additional vertical distances to consider as well. So we've got 1 there and 1 there. So the whole perimeter of this shape now is 2x, 4 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1. The perimeter has increased to 2x plus 10. So that's the shape which is the odd one out. Shape E is the odd one out because all the others have a perimeter of 2x plus 8. But when you separate out these tiles, you increase the perimeter by another 2.